Something has changed in the campaigns of Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. And in my opinion, it is something worth taking note of. For those trying to follow politics and the 2022 general elections, upcoming general elections, in a few months. That is what my show is all about today. And it is very fascinating. Because I give you some details and information on Aden Duale I am sure most Kenyans do not have. It'll shock you to your bones. Information like the man who financed Aden Duale's first political campaign, where he was successful and went to parliament. You will not believe who this man is. He's well known to Kenyans. You will not want to believe. Because looking at Aden Duale today, very firmly in DP Ruto's camp, you would never imagine. I think if I was to give today's show a name in Kiswahili, the name would be Allah. Karibu sana and enjoy. For those who have been following the campaigns of Deputy President William Samoei Ruto for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya, will have noticed that in recent times, Garissa legislator Aden Duale has taken a very prominent position in the campaigns, in the presidential campaigns of the Deputy President, which was not the case before. Before, Aden Duale was even missing in these campaigns. So something has changed. Now, we need to interrogate, and we need to start by asking a few simple questions. Why has this change come about? Is it significant? Is it even worth analyzing politically for anybody following Kenyan politics? Well, let us first of all start by understanding why this change came about. And why now? In recent times, William Ruto's presidential campaign has been making a very spirited effort to acquire a national outlook. Of course, nothing wrong with that. But what it means is that his staunchest supporters from his native Rift Valley and his Kalenjin community have been forced to take a back seat. And there's nothing wrong with that. Indeed, a very similar occurrence has unfolded in recent times in Raila Odinga's presidential campaign, where some of his staunchest supporters from Luo Nyanza have had to take a back seat, remain in the background, as others come into more prominence. That's normal. However, in the case of the Deputy President, his choice of Aden Duale is extremely interesting. And not for the reasons you may imagine. Now, it is a fact that Aden Duale, out of all those who are close to Deputy President William Samoei Ruto, out of his staunchest supporters, has not been consistent in his support for the Deputy President. And I appreciate that may come as a complete surprise to many. But let me remind you, do you remember the time Aden Duale went very quiet? Until people asked, even on this channel, where did Aden Duale go? Remember that time? And then, very close to that event, was the time that Aden Duale and Kipchumba Murkomen, both of them staunch supporters of the Deputy President, had a very serious public row. They had a very heated exchange on Twitter. Kipchumba Murkomen told us that Aden Duale was doing something very illegal. Yeah, at that time, of course, he was the leader of the majority in parliament. But still, even as he held on to that position, there was still the DP Ruto Manenos, where William Ruto fell out with his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta. That was still ongoing. But somehow, Bwana Duale managed to retain his position for some time until he was finally forced out. You can check out that video. It's on this channel. I'll refer you to it at the end of our show today. Make sure you check it out. It's very revealing, and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Now, that was a very clear sign that Kipchumba Murkomen and Aden Duale had fallen out. And not only that, it was also a clear sign that Aden Duale had fallen out with the DP Ruto camp and, of course, Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. That is for those who doubted that there was a problem. Now, during this period, it is believed that Aden Duale, due to pressure from the system, let me just leave it at that, had been forced to abandon his position as a staunch supporter of the deputy president. Now, in politics, very unfortunate, not everybody believes in sticking with somebody to the very bitter end, no matter what, if you believe in them, if they're close to you. That doesn't work in politics. And sometimes, or rather most of the times, politicians abandon their closest allies for survival. And it is believed that this is what Aden Duale was forced by circumstances to do. But there's something else from Aden Duale's past that may suggest something different. Let us go very quickly back in history to how Aden Duale came into politics. It is a most fascinating tale. And in my opinion, very instructive about the character of this man, Aden Duale. Before the 2007 general elections, those are the elections where Aden Duale burst into politics, made his debut in politics, if you like. Before 2007, Bwana Duale had been rejected by Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. He had also been rejected by Uhuru Kenyatta. He was seeking assistance from them to go into politics. And they all gave him the cold shoulder. And some say that the Deputy President felt that he was not capable. He did not have what it took to be in politics. To use Kenyan lingo, he felt, how is he make? Only one man saw the potential in Aden Duale. And that man, wait for this one, was Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga picked him up from Mombasa, where Bwana Duale was working, a small job. And he went with him up to his native Garissa, Aden Duale's native Garissa. And Raila spoke to elders in the region. And Raila fully financed his campaigns and assisted him in every way so that Aden Duale was successful and was elected into parliament on an ODM ticket in 2007. And what happened after that is that Aden Duale abandoned the man who had sponsored him into politics and struck a very close friendship with the man who had earlier rejected him, William Samoei Ruto. And in 2013, Duale was once again elected, this time on a URP ticket, DP Ruto's party at that time. And this is the reason why those who knew this story found it super fascinating that after 2013, Aden Duale never missed any opportunity to insult, throw barbs at Raila Odinga. Perhaps it had something to do with the fact that Duale suddenly became a very prosperous businessman. He started making a lot of money from his union with the deputy president. He probably didn't make much money during his union with Raila Odinga, during his stint at ODM. But still, you don't bite the hand that initially fed you. Now, it is super fascinating that Raila Odinga has helped very many politicians. He has groomed very many politicians countrywide. One good example, in case you didn't know, is the Nyeri town legislator. And there are many others. And many of these politicians, who Raila Odinga felt pity for when they were struggling, trying to get into politics, and decided to assist, many of them have ended up insulting Raila. Because it is one thing to attack somebody politically. It is another to insult them, to fail to show respect to somebody you should respect, who gave you your start in politics. But out of all these other people, it is Aden Duale's case that seems to have hurt Raila Odinga the most. He even spoke in public about it, castigating the character of Aden Duale. I also have a video on this channel about that speech Raila made on Aden Duale. Make sure you catch it. I'll give you a link towards the end of the show today. That is the background of this politician. You make your own judgment about what kind of a person he is. Because it's okay to be a successful politician. But in my view, it is also important to be a man of character, if you want to lead people. And of course, I appreciate the fact that not all Kenyans may want to agree with me, which is okay. It is quite in order. No problem with that. Anyway, my point was that Duale was an interesting choice for the deputy president, considering their past, and indeed their most recent past, where Aden Duale seems to have abandoned the deputy president for survival. But there are other pressures also on Aden Duale. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Because even some of his close family members, families that he's married to, have always been staunch pro-government people. Even many elders in Garissa, wazee wa kijiji, very important people, who initially supported Duale as he entered into politics. Indeed, leading politicians in that area do not play their politics the way Duale is playing his. When Yusuf Haji passed on, the Garissa senator was replaced by his own son. And the way this happened is very instructive. The elders in the community agreed. The people all agreed. In fact, there was really no election. There was no competitive politics. He just sailed through. I think you get my drift now. That is how politics is played in this area. Always pro-government. Political decisions are taken by consensus. People agree. And this is why the deputy president's bid to penetrate into this community has met with many obstacles. All this may also explain the current unpopularity of Aden Duale amongst his constituents, the people who elected him. Indeed, there's a video which went viral, which showed Aden Duale being chased away by the people who voted for him not too long ago, by his constituents. My point is that maybe Bwana Duale is looking for a position in government, a national position that will give him a soft landing, in case vitu zikiendelea kuumana Garissa, for him, in case things continue to go south for him politically amongst his constituents, which would mean the new role he has taken in the deputy president's campaign may also be something that will greatly benefit him going forward, so that he has some kind of national profile, outside Garissa. Now, before I give you the link to those videos I promised, I need to remind you that the latest weekly intelligence briefings, number 69, is out. Moto kuliko pasi ya makaa, because it talks about a deal that was recently offered to Deputy President William Samoei Ruto by the Azimio la Umoja folks. Very fascinating stuff. You don't want to miss it. And you can take advantage of our latest offer and get your hands on this latest sensitive WIB, as well as all the other WIBs I've produced. In case you're not yet a member, go for it. I highly recommend it. Now, those videos I promised, I've put them together in a playlist. In the first video, you will see Raila talking about Aden Duale. Very revealing. Take careful note of his body language, because it tells you what his feelings are concerning this issue of Aden Duale. And in the second video, I talk about the time when Aden Duale fell out with the deputy president, and the evidence was all there in the public domain for everybody to see. The link should be on the top right-hand corner of your screens right now. Those two videos are worth your time. That's my opinion. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.